Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Guy Ferguson, and this is Guy Talks Sports. Tennessee played Kentucky on Saturday night, and just wanted to give some of my, talk about the game a little bit, give some of my impressions about it, how the team played, how some specific individuals stepped up, and go over a little bit about Kentucky and how they kind of had a little bit of a drop off here as of late. Um, so Tennessee plays Kentucky at Rupp Arena. Always a crazy game. I feel like Rick Barnes really plays Calipari well. Um, Tennessee ends up winning 103-92. Tennessee did not trail. I believe they did not trail the entire game. So offensively, I think it's one of their better games this year. Actually, meant to look that up. Um, yeah. 103. That's their highest output so far this year, and to put it up at Kentucky, at Rupp Arena, it's really impressive. And you look at how the last few games have went, and it's really been the Dalton Connect show. And honestly, he played okay. He wasn't earth shattering performance by him like it has been the last few games. Um, let's see, he was 5 of 14, only 1 of 5 from 3 point range. So not his best night. They played him pretty well defensively, but then that kind of goes into what mainly going to be talking about this video, and that's how the rest of the team kind of rallied, and had a few different people step up. So Vols are currently the fifth ranked team. I think new ranking should be coming out soon. They improved to 16-5, and you looked after they lost that last game. Where they played South Carolina at home at the Food City Center. It's weird to say still. And honestly, it was frustrating. Let's see. Let me look back at the. 63-59. I think you had Connect put up 13 points in just those last few minutes, just to try to salvage that game. And definitely the tone around the team was we got to find somebody else to step up other than Dalton Connect, because he's the only one scoring anything, especially in that game. And so it was nice to see these other players kind of step up around him and put up some gritty performances. So before I keep going about Tennessee, Kentucky, which is ranked 10th right now, they'll probably drop, especially after dropping back-to-back games. They go down to 15-6, and really before this game, you really have both teams kind of under some pressure, especially with Tennessee's remaining schedule. It was after the South Carolina game, you had at Kentucky, then you had LSU, at Texas A&M, at Arkansas, Vanderbilt at home, at Missouri versus Texas A&M, but then you had versus home at Auburn, or home against Auburn, at Alabama, at South Carolina, the team that just beat you at home, and then Kentucky at home. And so you were looking at that South Carolina game, wondering just like, we really don't have that many games to just kind of give up, with the remaining schedule. So it was a really important road win for Tennessee. Kentucky, on the other hand, their last 4 games now, it was a loss to South Carolina, at South Carolina, a win against Arkansas, and then you had a loss to Florida in overtime at home, and then you had a loss to Tennessee at home. And I can't remember where I heard this. I'll have to try and find the source, but it was the first. I think I read that it was the first time Kentucky's lost back-to-back home games against an SEC opponent since against SEC opponents since 1993 or something crazy like that. So it was the most points somebody's put up, I think, since VMI a few years ago. So it was a pretty amazing offensive output by Tennessee. And listening to some of the Kentucky radio and YouTube channels, their fans are starting to kind of get lose a little faith with Calipari especially over the last few years, and so tensions seem to be mounting. But I would never count Calipari out, especially when it comes to March. You can have a so-so season. That's what kind of makes basketball so interesting. Is that you can have just this, like Kentucky 16-5, or I'm sorry, 15-6, and they have a pretty crazy schedule to end things as well. They're at Vanderbilt, but they have Gonzaga, Ole Miss, Auburn. You've got Alabama, and they have to play at Tennessee in their last game. So there's still some games to be lost on that schedule. And so even if they have a so-so remainder of the regular season, it's the great crazy thing about basketball, and also what makes it so interesting and fun is come March, that's when it really counts. And Calipari has had a history of turning around teams like this, so I wouldn't count them out yet. I know they have a couple key guys injured, and so even though they've lost the last 3 or 4, I think some of those guys have been injured during that time. So but kind of shifting back to Tennessee, it was really, really refreshing because it's been pretty remarkable to watch Dalton Knecht do what he's done over these last few games. I mean, over the let's see, let me pull this up. Over the last few games, you had at South Carolina, versus South Carolina, he had 31 points. At Vanderbilt, he had what was it? He had 32 points. Alabama, he had 25 points. So it's been pretty remarkable watching him play and to see somebody he has so many different aspects to his game. Great shooter, can drive the ball, and so he's been really fun to watch. It's been pretty impressive, and I know I'm not the only Tennessee fan to think that. It's been I don't think we've had somebody so dominant offensively since Grant Williams, and he plays a completely different game than Grant Williams did. Grant would just relentlessly drive down and get a bucket, but Knecht, he has so many different ways he can score the ball, and I really think he's going to translate to the next level when he moves on after this year. But anyway, so you had the last game where you lose 63-59 against South Carolina, who they now beat Kentucky and Tennessee, and I believe it was Rick Barnes said after the Kentucky game how he really talked to Zakai Ziegler and really challenged him to be a more vocal leader, and how he said he Barnes said that he couldn't be the only person getting after people, that he needed players to have some accountability, to have some leadership, especially with such a veteran team, with Ziegler Jr., you have James, Vescovy, and so you have enough senior or enough older leadership that you needed to be you needed players to be holding others accountable, and from all accounts it sounds like Ziegler has, and he had just played lights out. He had 26 points, 13 assists, so double, scored 8 of 11, and then 3 of 6 from 3-point range. Missed a couple late free throws, and that was something I've seen teams lose. Like I had to go back and watch the game later, but I caught the last few minutes of the game, and by the last few minutes I mean the last minute, which it felt like 10 minutes, because Tennessee would get the ball, foul, go to the free throw line, score a couple, and then Kentucky would just drive right back down, score 2 in 5 seconds, and then Tennessee would get fouled, and it was just over and over and over again. And so I've seen Tennessee teams lose games like that, where they miss a few free throws, the other team's still hot, and then before you know it, you squander that win. And so Ziegler missed a couple of free throws there at the end, but Tennessee really clutch free throws and closed out the game, which was refreshing. It was to see Ziegler play the way he did, one of his best games, maybe the best game I've seen him play. And then Vescovy, he was 3 of 4 from 3-point range, and then he was 2 of 3 on free throws. Finished with 11 points. This year he's been much more of a complimentary player, but still 11 points, solid contribution, played pretty well, and so he had a good game. And then of course you have Adu, who had also a double, 11 points, 11 rebounds, was 5 of 13 was 5 of 13 throughout the game. So that was impressive to see. And then Connect, who had 16 points, 4 rebounds. He was 5 of 14, and was only, like I said, only 1 of 5 from 3-point range. So not his best game. And then you have Josiah Jordan-James, Triple J, coming in with 26 points, and that was so, at least for me, for a Tennessee fan who's watched him over the last few years, to see him just light it up like that, it was really refreshing. It was fun. These guys that put all these years into the program, you root for them. You see him throughout the years, and some of his offensive struggles that he's had, and to see him put a game like that together, it was fun to watch. It was enjoyable. You root for the guy, and to see him 26 points. He was 9 of 18, so 50% from the field, 4 of 9 from 3-point range, and then had 4 of 4 free throws. And so fun to see him score like that offensively. Again, Connect with 16 points. It's crazy to say with 16 points that's not a great game from him, but that's just how good of a player he is. But to see the rest of the team, step up like that, that's what you're going to need in March. Because if your identity is that, okay, you play great defense and then you have one guy that scores most of your points, that's great. If you're winning like that, awesome. But then you have a game like South Carolina where you see that if that he still even played a great game. But if he doesn't have a great game, or if the rest of the team isn't as sharp that night, you lose, and that's not a great recipe of for success in March. Because if Connect doesn't have a great game, Tennessee loses, and so that was the main question going into that Kentucky game is what is Tennessee's answer to if Connect doesn't have a great game? Because at that point you had Ziegler was doing some great things every other game, Adu, but there was not much else, and so to see the rest of the team step up like that and say, hey, if Connect doesn't have a great game, guess what? James is going to put up 26. Ziegler's going to put up 26. Adu 11. All 5 starters were in double-digit points. All 5. And then you had off the bench, Gainey played 19 minutes, and he's had some. He kind of fell off a bit there for a while, but I thought the last couple games he played better. This game, he was only 2 of 8 from the field, 1 of 4 from 3-point range, so not his best game. But typically you have him contributing some. Meshack with 4 points, Awaka with 4 points. Got some good minutes from Meshack and Awaka. So, you look at this team, and if you can have some, it doesn't have to be consistent, but some fairly consistent output from most of these guys, this team I truly believe, can really make a deep run in March. And I know that's been Rick Barnes's big knock in his whole career, is that he can't, it's fine regular season, but come March, you're going to lose. And this team is built to make a run. And, it reminds me a little bit of the Grant and Admiral, but I really think they're even deeper. You look around, and Ziegler, if James can put up points like that when you need him to, Vescovi, I still feel like we're waiting on him to have a huge game. Because he's shown that he can score more than 10 to 12 points a game. But he's playing a role right now, and he's doing really well at it. If Adu Connect, you have enough pieces on this team, especially with Connect leading them, Ziegler at point, you can make a deep run, and so it's very exciting. I think that's what was so fun about this game, is that you saw the rest of the team just step up in such a big way and just score. And it gives me more hope in March, because earlier in the year at least me, I was like, oh yeah, we can make a deep run for sure. And then lately, with just Connect doing his thing, especially after that South Carolina game, you start having some questions. And maybe that wasn't fair after just one game like that, but when nobody else does much other than Connect, you start to worry, especially this late. We're at that point, we played 20 games, so only a few more, and then it's time for the dance. So to see the rest of the team step up like this, they really do have a chance. You never know when it comes to March. As I was saying, it takes one night with a team that's hot and you're cold, and that's it, right? But as far as percentage chance of making a deep run, I feel like Tennessee has a great shot. If they can get a favorable field, they have a great shot of making a deep run. So it's exciting. We'll see how the rest of the season goes. You're playing at home next on Wednesday against LSU. Then you're at A&M, at Arkansas. And honestly, the end of the season, you play Auburn at home, at Alabama, at South Carolina, and then Kentucky at home. So the rest of the remaining of the season, it's going to be a bit of a bear. But if you can get through, especially if you can maybe split those last 4 games, if you can get a decent seed in that tournament, that this team really has a chance to flourish. So anyway, that's my impressions of the Tennessee Kentucky game. I hope I wasn't too. I hope I didn't ramble too much, but it was definitely fun to see. It's always fun to make to talk about a game like this, especially after a win at Rupp Arena. And so, if you like the video, definitely please like it and subscribe. Tell somebody about the channel. That's the way this thing's going to spread. Please put your comments down on how I can improve this channel. This will be my second video. After first video after just doing an introduction video on this channel. So I want to keep getting this channel better. I want to improve after every single episode. I don't want to plateau at all. I want this thing to keep getting better. So please comment what you liked about the show, what you'd like to see, and I'll try to read through those comments. And that's one of the reasons I'm doing this. I enjoy talking about sports, especially Tennessee sports, and hearing what other people have to think. So definitely leave a comment, like and subscribe, and we'll see y'all next time.